Greetings friends, Survival Doc here. Today I'm going to talk to you about wheat. Wheat is an excellent food for long-term storage. But to store wheat you need to store not the flour but the whole wheat berries. What I have here is 50-pound bags of wheat berries. Now, normally in the Whole Foods market these would cost you about $1.20 a pound at today's prices. I pay 21 cents a pound. So I have 300 pounds of wheat berries here that I paid $63 for plus tax. Now you may ask, how did I get wheat berries at 21 cents a pound? And the way that I did that is I went to an animal feed and seed store and I bought seed wheat berries. All right, but they're the same wheat berries. They might not be quite as clean, although you really probably can't tell the difference. It is pretty darn clean. Every now and then I find a soybean, or every now and then I find a wheat berry that's got the husk on it. But I find those when I buy the wheat berries at the health food store. Anyway, now these wheat berries are not organic and they are treated with a pesticide. And if you open it and smell it, you can smell the pesticide. I wouldn't buy these berries to eat immediately, but these berries are great for long-term food storage because the pesticide will break down over a period of months and years. By the time I use this, the pesticide will be totally broken down. It will be completely safe to eat. And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to store your survival food and then find that when it comes time to use it, find out that it's been ruined by bugs or mold. Wheat berries, if you store them properly, have a storage life of literally 1,000 years. They've actually found wheat berries in Egyptian pyramids that they sprouted. So, and wheat is a versatile food. Of course, you can grind it. You'll need a grinder. If you have to store the berries, you'll need a grinder to turn it into flour to bake with. You can also sprout wheat berries and make a wheat grass, which will provide you with a nice fresh green food to eat when you get tired of eating your baked goods. Now what I will do is I'll show you how I store my wheat berries for long-term food storage. When you buy wheat berries for seed, it may not be cleaned quite as well. I don't think you can really tell the difference. I've bought it organically grown wheat berries and it looks pretty much the same. Every now and then you find the husk still on a bean. Every now and then you find a piece of a soybean, but it's pretty darn clean. Now we'll go over the procedure for preparing your wheat berries for long-term storage. Now this same procedure can be used for other foods as well, such as corn, oats. Of course, corn and oats do not have the shelf life of wheat, but you can put them up in with this procedure and store them for 5 or 10 years. Wheat has, as I mentioned, a shelf life of indefinitely, 1,000 years, maybe 2,000 years. When you put food up in this way though, you want to make sure that it is very dry. If it is not dry, you're going to open it and find it's going to be ruined with mold. What we will need is 5 or 6 gallon plastic buckets with lids. Now, some people just use the bucket by itself without a liner. If you do this, you want to make sure you have food grade plastic buckets. I'm going to use a liner, so it doesn't matter whether my plastic is food grade or not. These are just paint buckets. They're new paint buckets. Some people just use a regular plastic bag as a liner. The best thing to use is these Mylar bags. I bought these from Walton Feed. You can buy these from order these online. This is a 20-inch by 30-inch size bag, which I have found to be ideal for 5 or 6 gallon buckets. And what we will do is put the bags in our bucket, fill them as full as we can with our wheat berries. Then I'm going to add an oxygen absorber pack. And when I do this, I'll have to work quickly because you don't want to leave your oxygen absorbers exposed to air for any longer than necessary. I'm going to use a 200 cc. If the bag is full of wheat and we press all the air out, a 200 cc oxygen absorber will work well. Then what I will do is you seal these bags with a hot iron. I've made a little ironing board here just by wrapping an old towel around a 2x4 and stapling it to the board. This will allow me to put the plastic over my little ironing board and sealing my plastic with my iron. Now you'll have to experiment to get your iron at the right temperature. There's plenty of bag here. What you can do is what I do is just trim off a piece of the bag, and then I test it to make sure that my iron is at just the right temperature for it to stick, and then I will seal my bags. What I will do is I'll try to get as much air out as possible. So I will partially seal my bag, then I'll squeeze out, or actually what I do is I put a tube in there and suck out all the air that I can, drop in an oxygen absorber, suck out all the air that I can, finish the seal with the iron, cut off the excess plastic, making sure you have a good seal, and then put the lid on the bucket and seal the bucket with a rubber mallet. Okay, I cut a strip off the top of my bag, and I'm going to test my iron to see if it's hot enough. Oop. I think that's real good and hot. Oxygen absorber. Thank you. Press out the excess air. Finish the seal. Come off the excess. Check the seal. Good for 1,000 years. This is Survival Doc, reminding you, be prepared or be prepared to be fleeced.